What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA, and yeah, we got those early reviews coming in for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Let's go ahead and check that out. Right now, sitting at an 80% on the tomato meter, and you know how I do. I want to check that out and see what does it look like for the top critics as well as the all critics. So all critics saying 80% out of 103 reviews. The top critics, 70%. Not bad, not too bad, with 30 reviews in. So yeah, that's not too bad. Marvel movies generally fall somewhere between 75 to like 85% anyway, with a few high-end ones up in the 90s, and then there's a few floating down in the 60s, but for the most part, somewhere between 75 and 85. So this one looks like it's probably going to end up being in that same category. So let's go ahead and check out some of the reviews. By the way, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and click that subscribe button down there. That definitely helps you keep up with all the videos that I do. If you do like my videos, and if you haven't done so, if you don't want to subscribe right now, just give it a like. That helps this video make its way around to the rest of YouTube, and maybe somebody else might check me out. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. We got 103 reviews. We're not going to go through them all, I promise you that, but we're going to check a couple of them out just to see what it looks like. All right, so we got here, let's see. The souls of the damned binary view of diversity threaten this film, despite obvious efforts to make up for the whitewashing fiasco for the first Doctor Strange film. As somebody's into themselves and into their heads a little bit too much. It's a movie. It's just a movie. Chill out. Let's see. Raimi is humble enough to color within the MCU lines, but Doctor Strange provides plenty of situations in which Raimi's sensibility is suitable. I want to see a Sam Raimi movie. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a Sam Raimi fan. I've been saying that for a while, and I want to see a Sam Raimi movie. That's more what I'm interested in, to see what he can do with the MCU. The MCU kind of has a formula. I want to see if he can step into this thing, break the formula up a little bit. Sounds like he might have done that. Let's see, it goes on here. Don K, Den of Geek. If anything, Raimi leans hard into comic book imagery, even more so than any of his 3 Spider-Man movies. In fact, Multiverse of Madness might be the most outright comic booky film in the entire MCU today. Okay. I mean, that's good. Make a comic booky film, like we talked about it. Raimi is, not just Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3. He was also Darkman. That was a superhero, like kind of early 90s superhero flick. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to check that out. Let's see. All right, it's a convoluted but entertaining experience that should not be a viewer's first Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. I guarantee you it isn't. Most people are probably not going to go see this if this is the first thing. They'll check out other stuff. It's a movie that can be considered the tipping point where at least one Marvel show on Disney Plus is essential viewing to understand the film. Yeah, I heard you got to go see WandaVision. If you haven't seen it, you must see WandaVision in order to really get this film. Let's see. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is MCU's darkest installment yet that delivers thrilling horror moments and memorable appearances. The horror vibe was something that I didn't know how much they would let Sam Raimi play with. And it's, and even with this next one, the story is dead simple. The framework of a character piece exploring the consequences of ego, power, and grief. Sam Raimi injects a welcome dose of gothic horror into the MCU. Parental guidance is highly suggested. I was wondering, how much horror were they going to put into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Would they go, hey, Sam, do what you want to do. Go full force. And it looks like they did, because from other reviews that I've read, people are like, hey, look, don't try bringing your little 10-year-olds to this movie, because this thing is going to scare the bejesus out of them. Now for me, when my kids were small, man, we went out and saw full-on horror. I was taking my kids to see horror from the time they were 10, 11, all that kind of stuff. I still remember we saw Evil Dead, Cabin in the Woods, great time in the theaters. My kids were young at that time, but everybody's different. It might not be the film for hey, let's bring the whole family to watch what we think is going to be some kind of a, Infinity War or Endgame where you have some intense moments, but not too intense. So yeah, that might be an issue for this film. Here's a negative one. With Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, the soul-deadening bloat of these films becomes ever clearer, mostly because you can see a great inventive filmmaker trying and failing to style his way out of it. You know, I just want to see, you know, Sam Raimi do some magic here. I'm not sure what to expect when I go to the theaters. Let's see. Sam Raimi's return to the comic book dimension conjures up a spell in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness that can only come from the horror maestro. All right, well, that's good. I just want to see a great one, you know, from Sam Raimi. In terms of Sam Raimi's back catalog, it's more Spider-Man 3 than The Evil Dead. Don't say that. Come on, Kevin. Don't say that. Oh, man, they say here, this one, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has officially jumped the shark. Another top critic that didn't like it. Now, here's a third top critic that didn't like it. There may be a universe in which I feel the barest thread of emotional connection to even one thing that happens during the 126 minutes of loud, smeary nonsense that is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but I doubt it. That sucks. What else we got here? Let's see. If you've dreamed of diving into a live-action issue of EC Comics or Doctor Strange, then get ready for a new fave. All right. Yeah, that's what, you know, we gotta get back to the comic book versions of like some of these films that kind of don't feel comic booky enough, like the first person said. So it looks like this one at least feels like a comic book. The most inventive, chaotic, and scariest film in the 28 movie history of the MCU. Yeah, be careful. You know, watch your kids. Don't take your kids to see this. Perhaps the Marvel Universe is finally starting to feel like a long-running comic book series, or maybe Phase 4 just hasn't kicked into gear just yet. It hasn't. Listen, I've already said this. You can check the video that I did above, and me and T talked about this. Phase 4 is not working, okay? So far, Phase 4 is not working. I don't mean it's going to end badly. You know, there's been some poor movies in, you know, Marvel's past, but as a whole, from beginning to end, Phase 4 is on shaky ground. And it's starting to make me think, like I stated before, that this was a house built on the strength of the Russo brothers, on the strength of James Gunn and his imagination, on the strength of, you know, Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans' acting abilities. That's where the heart and soul of the MCU really is, and everything else, if you get outside of that, it's just kind of like, it's all right, you know. So yeah, I'm starting to worry about maybe, you know, they need to get those other characters pretty quick. Sam Raimi didn't make a Marvel movie. Marvel made a Sam Raimi movie. Yeah. That's what I want to hear. I want a Sam Raimi movie. This is making me happy. This one right here, this comment is making me happy. Marvel made a Sam Raimi movie. I'm enjoying that. All right, last couple of ones. Let's see. Best Marvel film or sequel? No, it's not going to be that big in the MCU memory bank, but it's important. At best, it achieves what many fans have been hoping for and rewards everything that the franchise has been setting up. Okay, so it's got some payoffs in there. That's good. Low scores though, 3 out of 5 right there. This one's a 2.5 out of 4. At best, Madness takes Marvel places it's been entirely too timid to go before. And no, I'm not talking about this endlessly flogged multiverse nonsense. You know what? I'm not a multiverse fan either, so I'm not, you know, thrilled about that, but I am interested to see a good, solid Sam Raimi horror film, and that's what this says here. This is a Sam Raimi horror film first and an MCU effort second. Cool, I'm sold. That's all I want to see, okay? Because Sam Raimi is an absolute genius when it comes to his craft in the horror genre, and I want to see what this guy can do with this. But that'll do it. Just wanted to run through some of the early reviews. You know, kind of mixed, right? You know, some good, some bad. It seems like overwhelmingly it's going to be a positive experience if you go to the theaters and check this out. But nevertheless, that'll do it for me, folks. Again, if you haven't done so, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up for me. I really would appreciate that. And yeah, subscribe if you're new and you want to check me out, you want to see other work that I do. I drop about 2 or 3 videos every day. Can't wait for this summer to get kicked off. This summer is looking like it's going to be a whole lot of fun, a whole lot of great films. And so yeah, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so. But that'll do it for me, folks. I want to thank you for watching. See you next time.